was definitely
that guy went all in.
Yeah,
that was a Hell in a Cell match. That was the second Hell in a Cell match. The first one was Taker versus Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah,
and the second one. So they planned to throw him off the top of that.
Yeah.
What they didn't plan though is for the cage when they went back up to break and collapse. And when he falls through, when Taker takes him and he choke slams him to the top of the cage, and then it gives way and he falls to the ground. That was
it's like 10, at least 20 feet from the onto that ring. that thing.
I wonder if someone got fired for that though. You know what I mean? Like it made for good TV, but that's hella dangerous. Rob, all-time favorite wrestler? Who's your all-time favorite wrestler?
You know what? I got to go with Bret Hart. First of all, not only is he
Bret Hart, the Hitman.
Honestly, when you watch those old matches of his, like just seeing how vicious and how like quick he was, and like he was snap quick, man. He was awesome. Yeah.
I recently saw someone had a quote that like when they wrestled with Bret Hart, like they were never like worried about getting hurt. Like he was very like. I guess I'm breaking the fourth wall or whatever.
No,
that it's fake. But
what are you talking about?
But he was so professional. There was never a worry that you would get hurt or any.
No, he was known for that. He said he never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
He never. He was so good at what he did. He never hurt anybody. He actually discussed that. Stone Cold got a podcast out or whatever.
Yeah, I heard that.
And he mentioned it then.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold's like, I knew when I worked with you, I was never going to get injured.
Yeah, which sucks because his career ended basically because Goldberg kicked him in the head too hard and like messed him up. So yeah.
Bret Hart. Yeah.
That's how his career ended. So
yeah,
it sounds like a lot of people were doing like reckless stuff. Like I threw that guy down, and I hope that table was enough to break his fall. So stuff that they probably can't get away with nowadays. Like they probably have so many safety measures in effect. Chris O, all-time favorite wrestler, since we're here.
Probably The Rock, I guess.
Yeah.
The Rock.
I'm like, I don't know if I give this guy much time to think about it.
The combination of the charisma and then the in-ring work was pretty good for him too. And then the promos. Come on.
Oh man. Yeah. I saw a clip recently about Conan O'Brien. He like gave some guy who's writing for The Rock the line of why don't you take like shut up juice or something like that. And then they played the clip and it's so funny. He's like, why don't you have a tall glass of shut up juice or something like that. You can't stop that. You guys in the comments, let us know who your all-time favorite wrestler is. I used to think it was maybe Ultimate Warrior or something. But I think it has to be Macho Man Savage now. I just like whenever I watch clips of him doing his thing and then you watch him on interviews continuing to do his thing. You're like, he never had like
character. Yeah.
There's no like interview of him just going, well, yeah, me and Hulk, we were like, every time he's doing the Macho Man thing.
He was in that character. There was a documentary that was out about him that's on the WWE network. Actually, I think it was also on A&E. They also did a biography on him. He used to write out everything in the matches. So that WrestleMania 3 match against Ricky Steamboat is like one of apparently it's in like the top 5 matches of all time. And Steamboat said he went to the back and, they would talk about, okay, here's what we'll do and this and that. And let's just figure it out as we go along. He had pages, something like 48 pages of moot. You do this, I do this. And he actually scripted the whole entire match out. And if you watch that match now, go back to watch WrestleMania 3 Steamboat versus Savage. It is such an amazing match. Like now, as a late 40s guy watching this, I appreciate so much of this stuff. I also really appreciate Bobby Heenan. I love listening to him and the commentary that he does when he's calling the matches. I'm killing myself laughing. It went way over my head as a kid, but now gold.
Do you think like when they were going through the script, Macho Man's like, and then I threw you into the blah blah blah. So this like 5-minute explanation turns into like 2 hours of him going, and then
I'm gonna jump off the top rope with my elbow.
So Steve says Edge was hella entertaining during the Kurt Angle beef. I think that was your era, right, Chris? Kurt Angle and
Toronto's own Edge, still wrestling somehow.
Yeah.
Like 60 now?
No.
No way.
I remember he retired. He retired forever. Like
he had a neck injury,
8 years ago or something, and then now he's back wrestling almost like full time. I was like, I heard about that through Pat, and I was like, holy crap, that's all these old people coming back. It's crazy.
Trish Stratus is back, and Lita, and all these characters that I thought were like done. I'm like, oh, they're still wrestling now. So I don't know. Fraser also says Andre the Giant. Oh, you can't stop Andre the Giant. And then
Hogan did.
Yeah. Okay, fine, but you can't stop him as a legend.
I think Andre let Hogan slam him. I think that was the whole thing. I'm gonna let you do this, Hulk Hogan.
That Steve does mention John Cena and Dave Bautista beef as well. I miss John Cena. I wish I caught it. I know, Chris, you had like a mad hate on for John Cena.
Yeah, but John, you would never been able to watch him on TV because you couldn't see him.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, yo, is this guy in the new Fast and the Furious? I can't see him at all. All right, cool. Welcome, everybody. We were just talking a little tangent about wrestling because we know you all love it, even though Lewis says it's never been his thing. One day, Lewis. One day. So welcome to the Sidekick Show. It is May 22nd, Victoria Day, long weekend. Thank you for joining us on the holiday. Rob is back and Chris O is here, guest starring. We're going to talk about Air later. So if you haven't watched the Air, the Nike Air Jordan story, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Maybe you didn't want to watch it. Maybe we'll entice you to watch it. Maybe you did watch it and have some thoughts. So stay tuned for that. Rob, what do we like to open the show with? I forgot again.
We like to talk about things that we did this weekend or what we've gotten up to, what you've watched, things of that nature.
Yeah. All right. So we like to ask, how was your weekend, folks? So, well, before I get to that, if you are listening to this on the rewind on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, we are live every Monday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There might be some altercations to the Is it altercations?
Nope. Nope. The altercation is when we fight.
Is it alterations? I feel like that's clothing.
Changes. Yeah.
There might be some changes to the schedule for the summer. We will let you know. Everything's just going to hell. Anyways, we what was I talking about? Yeah, live show. Yeah, so tune in to live shows. There might be some changes to the schedule, so I don't know why I even bothered saying it. So welcome.
Have you been drinking?
I haven't, but I should have been. I've been outside a lot today because the kids. So maybe I'm a little warm. Anyways, let's go to Rob first. What did you get up to?
Fried his brain, I guess.
Yeah. The sun has cooked me something good. I don't think you can tell. I got a decent tan.
Nobody can
just sitting there watching kids at the playground. My kids, not just random kids.
Wait.
Keep an eye on my kids.
Yeah, they'll get you for that. No kids at the playground. Someone will roll up on you. Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you have Chris Hansen knocking on your door.
Yeah. But anyways, you guys in the comments, let us know what you got up to this weekend. Any new drops, TVs, movies, or maybe you got to do something fun. Like I think Fraser said he went to the zoo. So shout outs to the zoo. A lot of walking. But Rob, what did you get up to this past week?
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't really get to watch a lot, John. I was away. I was up in Deerhurst in the beautiful Muskoka, Gravenhurst area for my daughter's dance competition. So we drove up on Wednesday and we just got back yesterday early evening, like around 6-ish. So
do you ever jump up and yell served after she like demolishes someone else?
No, I don't. Honestly, you know what? I will say, like,
all of John's sports references are derived from Nick Cannon movies, everybody.
Yeah, Nick Cannon.
So just be wary of that.
No, there's like some pretty serious rules and etiquette up at these dance competitions.
Golf clap only?
No, you can clap and cheer, but like you can't walk in between sets. Like it's a big auditorium and you have to stop. Like you're a freeze tag. You're like, oh, and you got to wait until like the dance session is over. Because there's so many dances, routines. Like the judges, to their credit, you know, between like 8 a.m. to usually 10:30 p.m. every day. And you're looking at about 150 to 200 dances or routines in a day. It's a lot. It's a big day. So yeah, people are in and out of the auditorium and stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was good. You know, it's good actually also to like be able to blow off some steam as an adult. You know, the kids afterwards are either really tired or they go out and they hang out with their friends and the adults get together and we kind of drink and commiserate about how much money we've spent.
It's worth it though, is it not? For these memories in the spirit of competition.
I don't know. You're asking me to quantify memories for somebody else.
How much is a memory worth? What is the value?
Yeah, I don't know. It's let me tell you, it's a very expensive memory. So yeah, that was
there's a movie with Hugh Jackman, Reminisce or whatever. You pay to relive your memories.
So, but yeah, I didn't really get to watch a lot. I did get a chance though last night. I made sure everything was unpacked and put away because I wanted to watch Succession, the second to last episode. aired last night on HBO in the US and Crave up in Canada. Absolutely fantastic. No matter how tired I was, John, it was a full weekend. I made sure it was an hour and 15, I think, for the show last night. So I watched it and just absolutely, I can't believe it's coming to an end next week. So
yeah, Chris, are you caught up on Succession too,
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah. I just watched it today, the latest episode. Were you as tired as Tom?
As Tom, yeah, I felt tired. Yes, I was like, I understand, Tom. Like, give me a drink, and I was just like rubbing my eyes and my forehead, going, "Oh my god."
Yeah. He's so tired that Shiv just is done with battling with him. She's just like, just go home and sleep. It's okay. We don't have to fight today.
Yeah. How happy are you guys with the season? Do they have to spike this final episode, or can it be like the season is being pretty decent that it can be like an okay ending?
I don't think they have to spike it, John. I think they will.
They will. Okay.
In Succession, I have faith. I listen. They've just been very, very solid episodes.
Yeah. Performances are great. It's riveting. Like these mundane, I wouldn't say mundane, but this high-powered like corporate stuff. They've made it riveting and really add this like dysfunctional family dynamic that's really interesting to everything. So.
And Kieran Culkin, who you would know from such movies as
Scott Pilgrim, I think, is the
Home
only
Alone.
thing.
He was the kid who if you gave him too much Pepsi, he'd wet the bed. He put in Spencer. He put in one hell of a performance last night. Like his character is pretty snarky and funny and sarcastic and just vile and rude. Which is my type of guy, but he put in a performance last night that you were just like, oh my God, shower this guy with all the awards, right? Like it was unbelievable. So yeah, Succession. That was my big thing that I got up to this past week. And although I did go out today, John, since I spent so much time with my daughter on the weekend, I did go out with my son and we watched Fast X. So we're not going to spoil it. People haven't seen it yet.
I've never seen it, but I'm guessing they do this at some point.
Yeah, family forever. Like, no, that's for I got it now.
Oh yeah, I too saw Fast and Furious. And I'll just quickly mention one of the other guys from our fellow podcast, Geeky Bros podcast, mentioned it's like a roller coaster, and I'm like, yeah, it's essentially a roller coaster. And if you start asking things like, what's the plot of this roller coaster? You're on the wrong ride. So just hop on and turn your brain off and just go nuts. I know, Chris, do you have any desire to see it?
Probably not in theaters. No, I haven't liked the unpopular opinion, but I haven't liked the Fast movie since the fifth one.
Well, good news for you. This one ties into the fifth one.
Well, there you go.
I will say that I'm sure at some point we'll get to some type of review. I don't know. We have to hook up with Stu. But if not, maybe John and I will record something. But that being said, I will say, without giving anything away, if you were on the fence, you're not too sure about seeing this movie in theaters or not, go for Jason Momoa. That guy steals this movie. He is absolutely fantastic. So there you go.
All right. So shout outs to Fast X. I think a couple of you guys saw it in the comments there. I think on down here, I've got Stevie went to see it. Interested to hear what you thought of it. But let's jump over to Chris O. Did you get up to anything this weekend? Did you watch anything other than Air, I guess?
Air, Succession, like Rob said, and then I did late to the party on this one. I did finally see Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That I thought it was awesome. I'm normally into like the fantasy type stuff, but I could recommend this to anybody who I think it was a really fun, accessible fantasy movie with very charismatic lead. And Chris Pine, I thought was a great movie. So
were you surprised how much you enjoyed it? Because I haven't seen it yet.
I was, yeah. I even showed it. I watched it with my fiance, who's not normally into any of that stuff. She was laughing out loud. She was enjoying it a lot. So,
Rob, I mentioned this during the other podcast when you were away. I think you will actually really like this movie.
But is it enough for a blind buy? It's $30 on iTunes.
I think 100%. Yeah. In Chris Pine, you trust. Does
it have rewatchability?
Yes.
Or should I wait for it to hit the $14 to $15 mark in like maybe a month?
Yes, all of the above. You should buy it now.
Buy it twice. Okay, buy
it again when it drops to $15, Rob. Come on. That's a silly question. You're being ridiculous right now. But I've said this, D&D is the building block, or the idea of D&D is the building block to a lot of things we do now, like all the new video games and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if there's anything that kind of precedes or predates D&D, but this movie follows that exact formula, like of the movies that we all love. So you could say that maybe it originated from D&D. But yeah, I'm glad you watched it, Chris. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Another Chris Pine win in the win column, trying to balance out that Wonder Woman 84 that's just sinking his whole resume. But yeah, all right, cool. Guys, can I tell you about the movie that I watched this week? That is not going to be in contention for the next best sports movie. New movie just came out on Disney Plus.
Please
Rob's boy, Jack Harlow.
Oh no,
and a bunch of other people. It does have Tanya Taylor. It has the late great Lance Reddick. But I'm talking about White Man Can't Jump, the remake that I think we talked about it before and said the remake that who asked for this or nobody asked for. And unfortunately, it should go back in the vault. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this. It's rated R, but it's very
the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first one made sense. But this one, it's rated R only because of the language. But it feels like an after school kind of special on what to do with your dreams and stuff like that if it's not going the way you want. But I don't mind. I kind of like Jack Harlow's music, so I was like, oh, let me check it out. But I could not recommend White Man Can't Jump, and it will not be in contention for best sports movie of the year. So yeah, don't.
When was the last time you saw the original one, though?
It's been some time. The original one, I remember not liking it that much, so I'm like, why am I watching this new follow-up? But it just popped up. I watched it. I just wanted to know how it ended. I should have just looked it up online like I usually do. But let's check in with the comments here and see what other people got up to. So Steve did watch Sisu, which I think I do have on my short list of stuff I want to watch. And is it Renfield or with Nicolas Cage and Awkwafina?
Renfield.
Yeah. I do have that on my short list as well. Steve, if you had to pick between the two, let me know which one you'd pick. Frazier says he rewatched Punisher Warzone after hearing Ray Stevenson passed away. So rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
Oh, Ray Stevens passed away. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Today. 58 years old, I think. He was only a few days away from his 59th birthday. Yeah.
These guys
which is crazy, right?
Yeah, and I feel like he was really finding his groove in the type of characters he was playing lately. I forgot what movie I saw him in that he just popped up in.
Ray Stevenson was Rome, right? He was Rome, and then he's going to be in the new Ahsoka show.
That was it.
Is that him?
Yeah.
So rest in peace.
How do you think his portrayal of Punisher was? Why don't we chat about that?
I didn't mind it. If you ever go back and listen to that director talking about her experience directing and during all that stuff, she was really trying something different that people didn't like. I think they just didn't either have the budget or the time to shoot the action sequences in a proper order. You just see him shoot, and then you just see people dying all over the place. But I thought it was okay as Punisher. Chriso, did you like it better than
I liked
Thomas
it? Yeah,
Jane?
I remember watching the Thomas Jane one where he interrogates a guy with a popsicle or something, and it's very PG.
And the steak, and he was
it was like this PG Punisher. I'm like, how can you make a PG-13 Punisher movie? What are you doing? And then they did the Warzone, which is like the opposite, which is a lot more killing. And I thought, okay, this is a better portrayal of Punisher. And I did enjoy that movie. I don't know if it was more of a comparison thing, but I didn't mind it.
I just remember, I haven't seen it since it came out. I remember him dropping down from a chandelier.
Yeah.
Upside down with his guns out and spinning. But then I always remember he had this massive body armor around his neck. And I always thought it just looked ridiculous. And
tactical turtleneck.
I was like, you know what? It was so distracting to me. That and Dominic West playing Jigsaw. I was like, oh, man. But maybe
I have Newman as Microchip or something like that.
Was he? I don't know.
I think he was. Yeah. But anyways, we'll move on from that. Steve also says he played the Street Fighter 6 beta. I played a little bit of that, so more on that coming eventually. Mario came out on digital. A lot of people picked that up. Did you guys catch it yet? I know we didn't. None of us really caught it yet. I think a lot of people everyone I've talked to that saw it has immensely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to check that out. And then let me see if there's anything else Lewis still hasn't watched D&D. What the hell, Lewis? Frazier said it was great.
There you go.
Hey, did anybody check out that Mortal Kombat? Anybody check out that Mortal Kombat 1 trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It got intense really fast. It was like this slow guy you're gonna join this tournament, and then all of a sudden people were getting brutally murdered in succession. I was like, this is great. If the game is anything like this, I will enjoy it.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Ooh, there was no game footage. It was all like the cutscenes and fatality scenes. Like you didn't get to actually see what the game footage was like.
They don't
concern you.
Yeah,
for a game that's coming out this year, isn't it? Like August or September?
I think it's slated for September. I don't think they need to show gameplay because the last couple games they did have all been solid. They've all been great games, well reviewed, well played. Maybe they released some content a little late, is what I found. You get all these cool characters dropping like way too late in the cycle that people have moved on to the next game. But I have no concerns with if it's going to play well or if it's going to look good. But
this is a new studio, isn't it? Isn't it Warner Brothers Montreal doing it or something?
Oh, I don't know.
It did seem like in that guy taught, or I don't know who he is, but the guy kind of inviting the guy to the tournament. It did kind of seem like they were going to do maybe a different take on the gameplay, some sort of event. To me, it seemed like he was going to like more venture element or like choose your partner. It kind of felt like.
Well, they've invested a lot into the single or like not adversarial like versus element to these games. That you have a lot of story mode, and the Injustice games had like these kind of like other elements like mini games that you could play. So I wouldn't be surprised if they acted. It did look more like a trailer for like, you know, that 2-player side scroller they released at one time with Sub-Zero, and I think it was like Raiden or something weird like that. So yeah, we'll see if it goes like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm down. Rob, have you played the previous ones?
Yeah, I think it was a few years ago because one came out free on the PlayStation Plus. So my son and I downloaded it. We played it. But the last fighting games I've been playing were the Injustice ones, right? Like 1 and 2 were awesome. And then like Mortal Kombat, I don't know which one came out 2 years ago. Was it 10 or something? I don't know. Yeah, it ended up being free on the PlayStation Plus. We downloaded it.
Yeah, I think they're on 11 or 12. I think that's why, like Fraser says here, like restarting to the beginning is weird. But I think also them going, hey, Mortal Kombat 13 is coming out in an environment when Street Fighter 6 is hitting, and other games. Why is Mortal Kombat in the double digits, right? So I think they wanted that little kind of aesthetic, or like, you know, the kind of just, they didn't want that high of a number dropping for a new game in 2024 or whatever. I guess I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, let's go. I'm down.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I think we've covered everything. Anything else you guys want to talk about that came out last week that maybe you missed or didn't miss?
Well, the Flash is, I think the finale is this week.
Are you still good riddance, Flash?
I'm still struggling to get through. I think I'm 2 or 3 episodes behind. So I'll have to get caught up, and I'll give you an account of how the show is later on. I don't know about you, John. I'm trying to think of the trailers that we saw at Fast X. Obviously, the new Mission Impossible trailer came out last week, and that dropped in the theater, as well as the new Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
gotta make sure I say it correctly because I don't want freaking Lewis all up my ass on it. That looks amazing. It sold me even, like, I was gonna see it anyways, but now I'm even like way more jazzed to see it. So, were there any other trailers that premiered at your theater?
I think those were the 2 main ones. They actually dived into starting the movie pretty quickly. Normally we get like a good 15 minutes of filler trailers and stuff, but I feel like they showed us like 2 or 3 trailers and then dove right into the movie. So we were actually pretty surprised.
I
think they did show the Flash trailer. Did they not show the Flash trailer?
Not for me. No, I didn't. I didn't have any Marvel or DC trailers at all on mine. Right. Of freaking trailers, right? So
yeah, you can legit just show up late now to a movie. Like if your time is like 8:30 or whatever, you can show up at like 8:45 or whatever and still get your popcorn and drink and then waltz in after, now that you have booked seating at most theaters. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Chris, are you hyped at all for Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer, yeah, it looked pretty good. I got to say kudos to Chris Nolan for continuing to make, I guess, original movies. Like no one's doing this anymore. They're all doing remakes and superhero movies that have been done before. And I think kudos to him for still on this path of I don't know if he wrote it, but
yeah, he did write it.
Yeah. So yeah, kudos to him. Like could have stopped that. What's that? Oh man, I'm blanking on the one where you. Oh frick. with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
Inception.
Inception.
Yeah, he could have stopped at Inception. That was a pretty good original movie.
Yeah, he could have mic dropped.
Yeah,
could have mic dropped at Inception and retired.
Yeah. Although I don't know if Dunkirk is original. Maybe that's a thing. Is that a?
Well, it's based on real events, right? But so is this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Fraser's talking about this creator trailer. Did you guys watch this creator trailer? I didn't get a chance to check it.
Yeah, I saw it. It's got kind of like Terminator vibes to it. Not a Terminator, but like I guess futuristic AI taking over the world kind of vibes to it, and it looks pretty big budget. Done by the guy who did Rogue One, I think. So he can do large scale like
Gareth Edwards.
I believe so. Yeah, they said the guy who did that movie.
Interesting. Yeah, it's got. I saw it pop up on YouTube and it said, and I was like, but I just didn't click on it to watch. It's John David Washington, I think, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
All right.
And John, I know you're a fan of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did you happen to see that there was an article last week on the passing of Dalton, the character?
No. Is he the guy he was based off of, I guess?
No. Quentin Tarantino has written and continued to write a whole a plethora, like books and books and books about these characters.
Okay.
And I can't remember the guy's name is something Dalton. Anyways, and he announced that he passed away. The character has now died. He was born in 1923 and dies in 2023 or whatever it was, 1933, 2023. And he had this whole eulogy thing for him and everything else. That it was on social media. I was like, wait, what? And they had he was notably starring in all these TV series. I was like, I've never heard of any of these series. And it's just because it was all created in Tarantino's mind. This guy must be sitting here going typing stuff up and tombs of information on a character that he just created for this movie. It's crazy. So I was like, oh, John must be
that's some if you read a lot of comics, that's some Jonathan Hickman type stuff where he gives you all those extra pages in your graphic novels of fake websites and just all these write-ups. So that's cool. If you're really into it, I guess
he's creating his own metaverse, guys.
All right. Anyways, thank you guys. Any other? Do you want to just start into the news, Rob? I guess we've already kind of started into it. Is there any other?
Yeah, we don't really have much in the way of news. I mean, quick little hits. I mean, obviously we talked about Ray Fisher passing away at 58. John, I know you were super excited.
Ray Fisher is still good.
What who did I say?
I know you didn't like his portrayal of Cyborg.
Yeah, I think he was mad Cyborg hater. But don't kill the guy.
Pour one out for Cyborg, everybody. Pour one out for Cyborg.
I was trying so hard to not say
Ray Stevens.
Fisher Stevens. And I was like, don't say Fisher Stevens because I was thinking about Succession. Yeah. And then I said Ray Fisher. All right. Ray Stevens at 58. Ray Fisher, still good.
Also, might not work again, but he's good. Yeah.
No, he's on Broadway. I think you got nominated for a Tony. John, I know you're a big fan of this movie coming out in the end of June, I believe. Tickets are finally on sale for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So
did you hear it's getting really bad reviews?
How was the last Indiana Jones, everybody?
I did hear that, John. Yes, I have heard.
It's breaking news. If I already didn't want to see this movie, there's some reviews coming out that say it's pretty trash. So hopefully those are some type of review bomb because it
came from Cannes, right? So the people said they saw it and they gave it a standing ovation, but it's kind of like one of those golf clap standing ovations.
Well, you gotta respect Harrison Ford, but I guess you don't respect the work.
Didn't he hurt himself bad on that in this movie? Yeah.
He was so bad on every movie. This guy's got to chill out.
Yeah. Millennium Falcon lands on his leg. Remember,
I feel like that wasn't his fault.
He crashed his plane. Yeah, he walked from in a golf course and he walked away from that. So, your buddy John Arnold Schwarzenegger has been named the Chief Action Officer for Netflix.
Ooh, that's a real position, everybody. That's not made up at all.
Who was previous Chief Action Officer? That's what I want to know. Who did you
Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore for In the Army. Arnold's got that new show coming out on Netflix called FUBAR. Which I think drops the beginning of June. So Netflix has named him as Chief Action Content Officer.
Also a documentary, I think. I saw a trailer for a documentary.
Yeah.
About
yes, there is one coming out there as well. I guess when all else fails, go to Netflix, right? Now there was some interesting information about. I'm trying to find his name because I don't want to butcher that one. Fisher Stevens. Ant-Man 3 writer. What was his name? It is Jeff Loveness. So he was hired to do the script for Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and apparently he's been let go from that project, or he has parted ways. Now, there is a rumor circulating online that apparently somebody's been leaking a bunch of Marvel Studio secrets. And now people are starting to connect it to potentially being Jeff Loveness. He went online this morning, maybe drunk tweeting at 3 a.m. saying, "No, it wasn't me. Didn't leak anything. It's all bogus." But yeah, Jeff Loveness, the writer of Ant-Man 3, which, by the way, guys, is now on Disney Plus. If you so choose to want to.
Yeah, so it's free now, right?
Rewatch that.
Past the paywall. Chris, you haven't seen it. Are you going to watch it now?
Sorry, Ant-Man?
Yeah.
And the Wasp, yeah. Ant-Man 3.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is small type. With brackets. Oh, yeah, she's also in this movie.
Do you guys feel bad for the, I guess, the actress who plays the Wasp? She has to do the comic accurate hair. Doesn't look great.
Who? What?
Evangeline Lilly. I was like, "What? Look what they did to your girl's hair. Were you okay with that, Ant-Man?"
Whatever, man. I don't know. I haven't.
It was very unflattering. I don't know if anyone did like the style, but for me and the general consensus, what it was a very unflattering cut for her.
Will you rewatch the movie, John? Now that it's free on Disney Plus, free as in
No, I would have rewatched it for the Jonathan Majors performances, but we're gonna have to wait and see how his whole thing shakes out. But
not for MODOK.
Oh yeah, hell no, not for MODOK. Yeah, man, Jesus. Unless they go back and doctor it up a little bit, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't foresee a rewatch of that movie anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
You gonna own it?
What's that?
You gonna own it?
No. This is the thing. I used to want to collect and own all of those Marvel movies, and then at a certain point, it got to be really arduous to keep up. Yeah. And then I think Black Widow broke my streak, and I was like, I can't be owning all of these when they started putting out dredge like this.
Yeah.
And the last few movies I haven't picked up, because I'm just like, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think the last Marvel movie I've picked up was Shang-Chi. That was it. That was the last newest one out of that phase. I don't think I picked up anything else from there.
Yeah, if I had to choose one, I think it would be that one. What about Shazam 2 drops on physical? Are you gonna pick that up?
On discount, probably.
The $50 range.
I think it hits Crave this week, or dropped today.
I think it's already available. I don't know about if it's on Crave, but you can rent it, I believe.
Yes, you can rent it, but it's hitting
Crave.
Crave. Yeah, but it hits Crave really, really soon. Tomorrow, May 23rd.
Yeah.
So if you have a Crave subscription, you go ahead and you can watch it there.
Subject your eyes to that, whatever that is.
I'm not gonna rush. I may watch it eventually, even though I have this bad boy right here. So.
Have you rewatched Black Adam?
No. It's going to take a lot for me to go back to that one too. But I got the hat. Thank you, Chriso.
All right. There's not really else much in news.
Yeah. Hey, that's great.
Although I will say that the Flash movie is tracking to be massive gangbusters at the box office.
The hype train continues for Rob.
I'm telling you what the news is. They're saying massive. It will probably outpace Guardians 3 at the box office for opening weekend. That's the track.
Probably.
Yeah.
We'll see. Probably.
One thing that's been proven is these DC properties, I guess their baseline it seems like they're more popular than the Marvel stuff. Just in general,
even the bad ones.
Because they go see people still go see the bad ones and give them pretty good numbers. So if this is an actual good movie, I can see it breaking 100, maybe 120 opening weekend might be pretty good.
Yeah,
people want Batman. People love Batman.
Michelle
got
says it right here.
Batman. Come on,
Batman. Throw Batman in anything. That's what they tried to do with Suicide Squad 1. They tried to throw Batman in there and try to capitalize, but I think they didn't do enough in there. Rob, let me throw a couple of. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say his entire cameo in the Suicide Squad was put into the trailers, but just chopped up. And you're like, oh, he must be in it a lot. You're like, oh no, he's in it for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah. What if his cameo is the same amount of time in Flash, Rob? Are you gonna be okay with that as long as Keaton's in there for a good like 15-20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay,
Affleck has stated it's his best version of this Batman, right?
Right, but he might only be in it for like 10 minutes.
2 minutes, nailed it.
Only had to work one day. Yes, let's do it.
It's like prom night, hey John?
Yeah. There you go, prom night joke. Okay, Rob, can I throw a couple other at you?
Yeah, man.
Loki and Echo got release dates.
Yes, they did.
Loki continuing, I guess, the tradition of weekly debuts, but Echo getting a full season drop.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
That's probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Maybe they compare Echo closer to the Hawkeye series, and the Hawkeye series might have done better if they dropped everything at once right around Christmas time. Maybe.
Well, it's interesting. So Loki premieres in beginning of October, and then Echo is like mid-November, I think, right? Like I'm just shooting it here. So maybe Loki ends, and then
insert another prom night joke there.
Yeah. I should have a video loop of just Rob saying just like on prom night, and then we just hit the video.
So, but it makes me wonder, like, is there something else coming out into November or going into the holidays that Disney would rather you pay attention to as opposed to Echo? Sorry, my dog's making funky noises. Sure. Or it's my stomach. Or is it like, as Chris said, is there a problem with it? Is it not that great? Like they just want to push it out and then have it forgotten? Or is it that it's leading into something? I mean, is it because of the writer's strike? Who knows? Like there's so many things going on, right? That you just don't know. My understanding though is that based on like leaks or whatever, is that Daredevil and Kingpin featured pretty prominently in this series. So, I mean, we don't know how far into Daredevil they were filming before everything kind of shut down. So it'll be really interesting to find out. Like for me, it's just an interesting strategy that they're always dropping things weekly. And for Echo is the only one they're dropping all in. It's just weird to me.
Yeah. So
but maybe they're testing it out. It could be a test balloon too, guys. Like they could be saying, you know what? Like, listen, Bob Iger is definitely changing things with what's going on with Disney, as evidenced by them, pretty much closing down Galactic Cruiser in Star Wars Disney World, right? Like they're changing things up. They've slashed a whole bunch of movies and TV shows from Disney Plus, Hulu, that they're just getting rid of them all. So maybe this is their test balloon to say, hey, let's try this drop binge model on a couple of the shows and see how it goes. So.
I guess we'll see. Are you hyped for either of them, Chris Ho, or Loki season 2 or Echo? No, don't really care.
Loki, yeah, I liked the first season of Loki. I thought that was good. Probably one of the better or the best Marvel TV series that's been so far. So the sequel is pretty.
I don't know.
What would you rank it? Top 2 or 3?
I think it is in the upper tiers because of the potential that we saw in the first part of it.
Yeah, but they can't rank something for its potential if the rest of it was shit.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's true. All right, so we're gonna revisit, I guess, ranking these.
Don't watch it week to week, though. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah. Maybe that's why.
If you wait and you watch the whole thing, it might be a little more palatable.
Yeah, I would have understood the switcheroo if Loki was all dropped in one drop.
Well, I think it was supposed to come out this summer.
Yeah,
they had originally said summer, and now they push it to October. Obviously, we know Jonathan Majors is playing a pretty prominent role in the show.
Yeah.
So is that the reasoning? I don't know. I have no idea. Ahsoka is August, so that finishes, and then Loki will drop, and that finishes, and then all of Echo. So, yeah, I don't know what else they've got going on for the end of the year. But it's interesting.
It seems like people aren't really hyped for these two shows, and a bunch of guys in the comments are saying about Secret Invasion. I think everyone's hyped for that.
Oh yeah, so that's coming out in a couple weeks, right? So
yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Can I drop one more bomb on you guys?
Yeah.
Apparently, the live action Powderpuff Girls movie is being kaputskied. Is this a tragic loss to Hollywood?
No, it wasn't a movie. Wasn't it a
TV show?
Series?
Bring Pat in. Where's Pat? Bring him in.
It was a TV show by the CW.
Okay, yeah. Well,
you remember we posted the pictures of it? They filmed the pilot and then they scrapped the pilot and said, let's redo it.
Never a
And
good
then-
sign. Yeah.
Oh,
And then they redid it, and CW, the new owners, are like, we're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I wonder if it's harkened to, remember Powers, Chris? We love Powers, the comic book, and then they filmed a pilot with Jason Patrick or something like that, and then they scrapped the whole thing and then proceeded to do another terrible pilot.
Yeah.
And then it launched on PlayStation Network or something.
Yeah.
Really
that's
weird.
That's where I go for my quality TV, my PlayStation console.
Yeah. Don't forget, folks, there was a moment where PlayStation was trying to get into the content game for TV shows and stuff like that.
That's
But
true.
anyways,
How about that, yeah.
let's get rolling. Rob, I think we can wrap up the news and everything like
it.
that, and let's dive into air and then let everyone get on with their holidays.
Okay, cool.
So,
Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Again, if you're coming in a little bit late or you decide to scrub through our witty banter, stay tuned to our social media feeds on what the ever evolving landscape of when this show is going to be airing. We might have to start shifting days and whatnot, so we will definitely have to let you know. I can tell you for sure I will not be here next week.
Fine, Rob. Fine. I see how it is.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I have now like 2 nights of hockey, I have 2 nights of soccer, and we're pulling our hair out. So we'll see how it all goes.
Summer in full effect, folks.
Yeah, summer and we have kids playing ice hockey. Okay, only in Canada. Are you ready, boys?
Yeah, let's rock and roll. So this is the reason why we have special guest Chris O in here. We're talking about Air, the origin of the Air Jordan shoes, and if we're going to talk about sports movies, we have to call in Chris O, and we have to talk about Moneyball later.
Is this a sports movie though? Is the question?
All right.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get into.
Let me give you the rundown. Okay, released in theaters on April the 5th. Air's movie that was originally going straight to Amazon Prime before distributor Amazon Studios decided to release it theatrically after the movie had received positive feedback on its test screenings. Starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Marlon Wayans, Chris Tucker, and Viola Davis. Reported budget for the movie is about $80 million and pulled in $88.1 million at the box office globally, which isn't bad for a smaller release. It was only in theaters for just about 30 days. Produced by Damon and Affleck, the movie is also Affleck's 5th directorial effort, 6th if you count a short film from 1993. The movie is considered a biographical sports drama, Chris, based on the events surrounding Nike signing Michael Jordan and ushering in the Air Jordan brand of shoes. Written by Alex Convery, who got the idea while watching the documentary miniseries The Last Dance, which is absolutely phenomenal if you haven't seen that, which did feature a small segment about Nike and Jordan. Now, if you have seen the movie, you would know that Michael Jordan himself does not appear. Sorry for spoilers if you haven't. But Affleck and Damon did meet with Jordan a number of times, and he approved of the script, but with 4 revisions or requests, one of which was that Viola Davis portray his mother, and then some tweaks to the supporting cast. He wanted to include certain characters and remove other ones who were written into the script, apparently had nothing to do with the design of the shoe or anything around that deal. The movie was a hit with critics and audiences alike. Air is currently sitting at 92% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes and a whopping 98% audience score, which surprised me. So, John,
Wow.
So, John, is this movie nothing but net, or is this another stinker like the Air up there?
I think you should have done an air ball type.
That's true.
But that was still fantastic, Rob. Thank you very much. So yeah, Air. I would have been upset if I went to see this in theaters, but with that being said, on the stream, I thought it was a great, entertaining experience. I have some issues with the whole Michael Jordan thing, and I think we'll maybe leave that to like a discussion. Like, does this movie become better if they somehow add Michael Jordan in? But damn, that if they don't make that Jordan shoe look really cool, the few times they show it, I feel like they didn't show it a lot. But overall, a lot of good performances. I'm happy I watched it. If I put this up against, should you watch Last Dance or this? I think Last Dance is going to go first. But I don't know. Rob, what did you think overall of Air? I know you were really hyped to see this.
Yeah. And so I didn't see it in the theaters. Actually, my son saw it in theaters and he loved it. The people he went with were like, and he was like, I want to see it again. So we ended up watching it together the week before last. I really, really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was quite funny. I thought it was very interesting watching having Ben Affleck direct this movie it's tonally and like the way it's shot and the colors, like it's just vastly different from the other movies that he has done, and I really appreciated that. Like, I was like, oh, he's definitely changing up his style, and he's not just shoeboxing himself into a certain type of style of pan and or whatever, right? Like he made it just absolutely gorgeous looking. I thought this movie delivered a lot more than I expected that it was going to. I mean, Jason Bateman is absolutely fantastic in this movie. Like, everybody brings like their A game almost, right? And it feels like small budget. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like a low budget movie. But it felt just like, low budget, but like full of energy and passion and love for the subject matter. And I thought everybody did an amazing job. So I was really happy and actually surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie.
All right, Chris O, our sports guy. First of all, do you consider this a sports movie?
I would have categorized it more as like a marketing movie about like good marketing and
I agree.
Contract negotiations and like believing in yourself kind of and things like that, or just kind of like putting all your chips in the middle of the pool and like you're staking it all in one thing. Yeah, I would call it
like sports adjacent, right?
Yeah, sports adjacent is what I would call it. Yeah, this has some sports clips. It is a subject matter I'm very interested in. I do have a lot of Air Jordan shoes, and I like collecting them. I'm a big basketball guy, so I did like this movie. I really enjoyed, like Rob said, all the performances were top notch. Ben Affleck, he gets a lot of crap because of the whole J-Lo thing, but I think majority of his movie, I think maybe all of them except for maybe one or two, all the movies he's directed have been pretty good, right? So like Argo, things like that. So I thought he had a very good performance in this movie as well as Philip Knight, the CEO of the company. But yeah, I did like this movie, enjoy the subject matter. I think they could have featured the shoe a bit more. I wanted a little more on the shoe, the development of the shoe. They didn't even, I don't think they even mentioned they put air in it, which is a big thing that Nike was known for, was putting air in their shoes and the whole Air Jordan thing. Maybe you'll get to the performances later, or the shout outs to the different people later. So I'll save that for later. But yeah, I thought overall it was an interesting movie. Like you said, as I was watching it, I'm like, this is like such a streaming movie. If it wasn't for like all the big name stars in it, I would think that this is such a streaming play. And then I was like, okay, it has some big name stars in it. So yeah, I guess it should get released in theaters. But overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting and really funny at times too, which was surprising. I think this subject matter might seem boring to some people, but I found it very interesting. And he did add a lot of humor into certain spots of it. Yeah.
Yeah, typically telling this story would probably be boring. So the fact that they made it an entertaining, I don't know how long it was. It was like 2 hours, was it, Rob? I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't seem that long. Yeah,
just shy of 2 hours. Yeah.
It still captured it, despite the fact that they are kind of talking about some boring stuff and they're not showing Michael Jordan play and do his Michael Jordan thing. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so my main issue with the movie is we're going to talk a little bit about casting, but before we get to casting, I have to talk about this whole Michael Jordan is in this movie, but he's not really in this movie. I kind of understand it because once you cast Michael Jordan in here and he becomes a bigger part of the movie, then the movie gets taken away and it becomes Michael Jordan's story.
Yeah.
But then my counter argument would be like, there is no, like, the Air Jordan is Michael Jordan's story, right? Is it not?
Yeah, there's some weird moments, especially when he does the meeting in Nike, where you're like, I think he needs to say something. I think he needs to do something in here. He's just kind of like this figure. And then when Matt Damon delivers his crazy speech at the end to kind of sway him over to the side after the video fails, it's like, who's he talking to? Like, is he talking to his mom? He's talking to Jordan in that instance.
You basically see the back of his head, right? And
It kind of takes a bit away, but I get the argument of not having him in there because, like you said, if you cast him, then it's like, who's playing Michael Jordan in this movie? Did he do a good job? Like, does he look like Michael Jordan? Is he like, can he play basketball? All these things like will come into the play. So I get the decision to do that portion of it and keep him off screen. But there is some parts where you're kind of like, that's kind of all you're featuring. Should he say something more?
I actually like the fact that we didn't have him. And Ben Affleck did go on. He said in numerous interviews, as soon as you cast somebody, all you're going to be looking at is like, that doesn't look like Michael Jordan. That doesn't look like, He's like, it's just too distracting. As Chris said, it's too distracting. I like the fact though, that this is about the people that designed the shoe. Like when my son and I were watching it, like Noah said, you know, I mean, why did they make this movie? We know the shoe gets created. I'm like, yeah, but it's about like you know, that old adage about the journey, you know, it's not the destination. It's the journey to get there. That's why we know what happened in Titanic. The damn thing sank, but you get like a 3-hour movie.
I was rooting for Jack at the end, though.
While not absolutely
was that door not big enough to fit both of them? Come on.
While not historically accurate, there is, you know, you can tell a compelling story to lead up to the events of something that right. So I actually thought it was great that we focused solely on the on the people surrounding the event, like, you know, having to create the hustle, the gamble, like all of that stuff. I thought that was fantastic because we don't know who those people are. Like we've seen Phil Knight portrayed in previous iterations, you know, in the Prefontaine movies and whatnot. But you know, he's somewhat, nobody really cares or knows what he looks like. Those other guys, you have no clue who they are. Yeah. They're just like average people, right? And they helped usher in this whole entire thing. So, because I think, listen, if you juxtapose this movie with like those two Steve Jobs biopics, right? One had Ashton Kutcher and the other one had Michael Fassbender. Like, you know, they're not Steve Jobs. And like, I felt like that stuff kind of took away from those movies, even though I did like the one with Fassbender because it was Aaron Sorkin who had wrote and directed it. You still know it's not Steve Jobs, and it kind of takes away that illusion, right? But this is told from a different perspective, and that's why I think this, for me, this movie was special in that regard.
Yeah. So maybe the plan is you watch Last Dance and you get your fill of Michael Jordan, and then you fire up Air, and you're just like, okay, let's hear this story. But let's talk about the rest of the cast. Chris Ho, who do you like from the rest of the cast?
Well, somebody mentioned in the chat. I'll leave that for you guys. The guy who plays his agent, Falk. I think he was from like the Mindy Project or something. When him and Affleck are not Affleck, I keep saying Affleck. When he's yelling at Matt Damon for like 5 minutes, I love that scene. I was laughing out loud because Matt Damon.
They had good chemistry.
Like, yeah. I was like, he's like, and he was very self-deprecating at the same time too. He wasn't just like all bravado, like I'm this big macho agent. I'm going to take you out. Damon's kind of like, I wish I wasn't your therapist. And he's like, oh, you know, he fully admits he has a therapist. He's just like, oh, you don't want to be my therapist. My therapist is miserable. All this other stuff, like the herpes thing and everything like that. I thought that was a great rant, in like a 5-minute rant where you're basically like just yelling at somebody over the phone. And like, I just thought that whole chemistry was great. And I thought I thought the agent played a really good, not typical, but agent, like macho agent guy who's upset at a guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like when he was like, yeah, we're either going to be like, I'm going to hate you and I'm going to end your career, or we're going to be best friends. Like that was great. I wonder if like they had them in the same room because they're over the phone, right? So I wonder if they tried to have them in the same room so they could get that chemistry.
I think so. Yeah,
it feels really natural. You can't tell they're
when he's holding the phone, like an old school phone. Like kids won't get this because you have phones with like an earpiece like this. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, jeez.
Rob, who do you like in the cast?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I thought Matt Damon did a phenomenal job, right? Like, you know, I think Matt Damon is a great talent, right? I love almost everything that he does that he's in, almost everything. But like Jason Bateman, I don't know if it's because you know, because this is so different from Ozarks. But I don't know if it's because I love listening to Smartless, but he's just like so dry and witty in his humor. And it comes out, especially here. I thought he was really, really funny. I got to tell you though, like, you know, Chris Tucker was great seeing him back on the screen. I thought Marlon Wayans, and I can't remember the character he played, the guy's name, but he was the assistant coach for the men's 1984 U.S. basketball Olympic team. And apparently he played a very, very important part in Jordan kind of agreeing to have the meeting with Nike in the first place and then signing on. But I thought in the very small amount of time that Marlon Wayans was on screen, I thought he did a fantastic job. Like I was like, hey, for a small cameo like bit, this guy he nailed that scene. I thought he went right on level with Matt Damon. So I thought he was great. And I mean, might as well say everybody, but Viola Davis, like, you know, you've always heard stories, you've read stuff, you've seen the documentaries about how, like, you know, not controlling, but controlled Michael Jordan's mother was. and to see her portrayed in this manner, I mean, with Amanda Waller, like, you know, come on, like she was awesome, right? So yeah.
But
I think
just to do a little fact check on that. Yeah, the Marlon Wayans character is the one who kind of sets that meeting. Like, not to break the whole thing of the movie, but he doesn't just drive out there and talk to the mom out of the blue. It's Marlon Wayans' character, I believe, who kind of orchestrates that. But obviously, that's not as dramatic. You want the whole thing of him having the bravado to go there and talk to her. But anyway, sorry, John, go ahead.
Yeah, and he's got the speech. I think that's a real thing that he has.
That's a real story. Yeah.
Malcolm X speech or whatever. Yeah, that was, I think Marlon Wayans, anyone from the Wayans family, very underrated. Sometimes I feel like they kind of come in as underdogs. I know none of you guys watch Bel Air, but Marlon Wayans was in Bel Air playing Will Smith's father, and I think he did a really good job. And he's got I think a stand-up special out right now that's actually fantastic as well. But yeah, someone Lewis in the comments mentions that Marlon Wayans did a good job. Even G.I. Joe 1. I know you guys might like G.I. Joe 1, but I thought he was great in G.I. Joe 1. All right.
Existed.
Yeah. All right. Favorite scenes, guys. My favorite scene is, you know, when they're doing the marketing thing and they're coming up with the strategy, and then they're like, okay, Phil, you come in late. Because you're so busy, but it's important that you come in. And then he's like, no, I gotta show up early. This is the big deal. He's like, no. He's like, this is the plan, and they're planning out this whole strategy. The Chris Tucker character goes in first. This guy goes in first, and then this guy comes in late, but he talks about, and I was like, I really like seeing that part. But I don't know, what do you guys got for favorite?
I like that his ego is so like he can't just go into the room and he has to make sure that they know.
He stops and he goes, I'm blah blah blah.
It's like, no, you're not supposed to say that. It's all subtext, but no, you had to say it out loud. You had to make everybody know that he's an important guy. And it's I gathered it as Matt Damon. He wanted to do the whole we'll pay the fines, but he didn't want the guy in the room when he said that. So he came in, he's like, oh yeah, I thought that was the reason why, not the whole important CEO thing. But I thought that was funny. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No, I really enjoyed like the pitch meeting, right? Finally at Nike headquarters. And Chris had mentioned it, like when he makes the speech, right? Like they're watching the video, and it's just a standard video that everybody else was using.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's so bad about the video? The video is it's just the standard stuff, right? They just
when you're a big deal like Michael Jordan, and you have these meetings where everybody's fawning over you, these types of like cookie cutter marketing videos are probably boring to him, I would figure.
Yeah, and it was boring, right? Because the best part is that Damon had called what Converse and what Adidas were going to do in their meetings, right? And that was really great. And then when they get there, and you can see the frustration, like, first of all, shot from the back, you see Jordan slunched and he's just like drumming.
He kind of like does like a
he doesn't want to be there. And then you see the mom is just kind of like, okay, great, this is not, we thought we were gonna, you were different and you're not. And then to see Damon just like, don't turn it off like that, right? And I think it was Bateman's character who was like kind of freaking, like, what are you doing? And then obviously Affleck's like, what's going on? And then he says, nice audible afterwards, right? He goes, nice audible call on that one. And he makes that whole impassioned plea, right? Like, I thought, and that speech, like, it could an argument be made it was cheesy as shit? Yes, of course. But I thought it was a really well done speech. Like, I thought, it was well like written and then delivered. And it was, I would love to know if any of that was real or not. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to know how close to reality that speech would have been. But yeah, that was probably my favorite. I love those dramatic moments, right? I
wonder if it's also part of the plan. We're going to play the video. You interrupt the video with your speech that says how this video is trash and how we actually care. Chris, do you have any other scenes that you really liked?
I mentioned already, it was the scene with the agent yelling at him for 5 minutes straight. And then I like any scene where you're studying because of the whole Moneyball thing. I like when Sonny he's studying tape and he kind of sees what not everybody sees, what some people see in Michael Jordan, and he explains it very, very nicely about like all the things he's saying, all the things he's seeing that other people aren't seeing on the surface as well.
Yeah. He's waiting. He's ready for the ball. It always goes to this guy, but Jordan's ready or whatever because he wants it.
And then he drops that the higher ranked prospect went there too, and then he left because like there was no way he was gonna get play over Michael Jordan, things like that. Like the subtle things that people know. These guys, this Sonny guy, you get to see him flex a bit. Like this is why he's such a guy that Phil Knight takes seriously and hired him and things like that.
But you know what's crazy? Okay, so this is 1984, I think, right? 84, 85?
3, 4, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So, and they're like, their budget for the year was $250,000. We spread over 8 players, right? And that was going to be their endorsement budget, or over 3 players. Like, absolutely bananas. And then to think that Adidas said, okay, fine, we'll match you at 250. And it's like, what? Like, absolutely crazy. The last thing I would say is the negotiation between his mom and Sonny.
Yeah.
Right. Where she's
on the phone.
She's all excited, and then she's like, and then I noticed it must have been an error on your part, or something must have gotten missed in translation.
Yeah, she's good.
There was nothing in there about profit sharing off his name. He's like, oh, well, we don't do that. And it
was such a good way to sneak it in, but not be aggressive about it.
The whole conversation back and forth, right? And knowing and then you see obviously in the postscript that type of deal was not only unheard of, but revolutionary, in changing the way that future deals with sports or entertainers of any nature and their endorsement deals were done. It was absolutely phenomenal, right? Yeah. And that's part is like, Affleck's like, it's okay, it's fine. What? So, we sold, 8 million shoes last year. Yeah, maybe what? Maybe a million? Not that big of a deal.
It's fine, yeah. And then he ends up giving us so much for it, yeah. I like that and maybe it wasn't that obvious, but like she sensed, she knew that she didn't even ask the other companies for this caveat, right? She knew that she could get it out of Nike too, right? Like he's kind of desperate, he's kind of flying off the seat of his pants here on a limb, and I could probably get this from him or from them, and she ends up getting it, which is great. I thought that was a very good scene of showing her negotiation power, her savviness in that situation.
Yeah, it definitely showed off why you hire Viola Davis to play any kind of serious part. I will shout out the other scene. There's a scene with I think Matt Damon and Jason Bateman, and he talks about how he's like divorced and he sees his kids and he brings them a pair of Nikes every time or whatever, and he's like, I bring them. That's the day they get their new. And he's just explaining this whole situation that he only gets to see his kids for this little bit, but he's willing to take this chance and maybe lose everything, and he won't have those Nikes, or I guess he's gonna go buy the Nikes himself. I thought that was really good. So Jason Bateman, definitely sneaking in, so many hot cast members in here.
Did you want that phone, John? Do you want his weird phone that was in a briefcase?
It's like what is that? Like a case for a phone this big?
I know, it was weird. He's like, are you calling me from the office? No, I'm calling you from the rental. It has a car phone.
Shout out to car phones, people. That was a big deal. That's a big status symbol, but now everyone's got one now. All right, let me shout it out to this quickly, and then we'll keep going. Okay, so there's 2 questions here, but I'll go to this one first. Obvious question is, they did this with Jordan, in the Air Jordan. Is there anything or anyone you would see as the next big thing? I feel like the obvious answer is Kobe Bryant. I'm sure there's something already in the works that tells Kobe Bryant's story or big chunk of it, but is there anyone else you guys would think you would want to see? Rob, do you want to see Shaquille O'Neal and his shoe journey? No. How about Michael Jackson and his what were those shoes that he tried to make?
Michael Jackson?
Yeah, Michael Jackson tried to make a shoe for one point, and the whole deal blew up or something like that. And just
like the Pepsi commercial in his hair? No.
Jesus Christ.
No, you know what? So I was thinking when I saw this question come in, which is a really good question, I was thinking about it. So it's on Disney Plus, and you can watch it right now. I believe it's called The King's Ransom. It's for the 30 for 30. It's when Gretzky was traded from Edmonton to the LA Kings, and the whole the craziness surrounding that moment, and the decision to trade him, and what the frenzy, the craziness of Edmonton fans and all fans in Canada, to be very honest with you, and then what was going on with Edmonton. And if you watch that, when you're watching that documentary, and again, it's on Disney Plus. I think it's about an hour or so, but when you're watching it, you're like, oh, this would make a fantastic movie. Like the whole story surrounding this moment, this 7-day period, right, in his life is absolutely riveting. So if there was to be another movie then I would definitely behind the scenes of this type of stuff, it would be that one, because it was absolutely riveting. So yeah.
Chris, you got anything?
I will. I can't think of one like a really important one to the culture. Things like I can think of one more selfishly. What more selfish?
Yeah, one you wouldn't want to see. Yeah,
is
Warrior.
The process in which the Toronto Raptors won the World Championship basketball. That whole process, the GM making the decision to trade its beloved DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. Pushing all the ships in the middle and then getting a championship for the city of Toronto. I would love to see a movie about that, but probably not for another 20 years.
Yeah.
and if you do, it'd be on CBC, so it'd be really low budget.
Yeah, super low budget. Yeah.
Just for you, Toronto.
You know what? It would be all about load management.
No, Chris. There is a light at the end of the tunnel because you know who's a massive Raptor fan.
Drake.
Oodles of cash.
Yeah,
that's our boy Drake. So if anyone's gonna produce that, and producer of he brought back Top Boy, all these great shows. So if it can happen, Drake, give Chris Ho a call up, and we'll put this together. I can't think of anyone other that I would want to see. I want to see Kobe Bryant's story. Obviously, I know a lot about it already, but then how do you cast Kobe Bryant, right? But
what do you want to see? But the thing about these movies, right, is that they're telling the story of a certain moment.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, so like what moment would you want to see? Like something that happens and you're like, oh my, and then the story leading up to or surrounding it. Like what?
Yeah, maybe their championship run. I don't know. What did they win? Like 6 or 7 in a row or something? And it was like him and Shaq all the way, like the whole crumbling of it. But I feel like we know all of that. So maybe you would have to choose something that not a lot of people know about. Like I know George Foreman just came out with a movie and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. All right, we'll see what comes next out of the pipe. But Drake, you gotta make this Raptors thing happen. But Chris O, all right, Moneyball or Air? I feel like this is pretty easy.
I think this is a slam dunk.
Okay, what's the reason why though? Is there something going on in Moneyball that you like better than Air? Is it just more sports?
Yeah, it's more sports related. I like the inside outs of knowing about how this team, defied the odds and got to the wherever peak that they got to. They didn't really win anything, but they win a lot of games, I guess, and the nature in which they did it to go against the norm. Yeah, Air is more just about like you saw something in a guy and you kind of pushed your chips all in and you gave him a line and revolutionized like this aspect of sports or the shoe aspect of sports. So I prefer Moneyball in that sense.
Yeah, maybe a tighter cast too. Like Brad Pitt gets a lot more time and Jonah Hill. Like they have a lot of lines and dialogue to deliver. There's not as many guys to split it up between. Rob, I feel like it's obvious. I feel like everyone's answer was obvious for this, but Moneyball or Air?
Yeah, I'd probably go with Moneyball. Because again, I don't look at this as being a sports movie.
Yeah.
Right. But I tell you, like I said to you last week, this really makes me want to go watch Blackberry even more. Right. Like these.
I heard it's fantastic.
Great reviews. It's got
and after watching Air, I'm like, oh yeah, it even makes me want to go watch it even more, right? So, yeah, I think Moneyball is more of a sports movie, per se, than this one is. So,
yeah, unless you could have like Chris Pratt played a real player, right? What if you had someone that played Jordan, and you got to see a moment in there of Jordan?
No, but it doesn't. It's still about the marketing of a shoe.
More about the shoes,
branding.
Yeah,
it's a movie about a brand than it is a sports movie, right? So,
what's crazy is if you think about basketball now, there's no other shoe company even relevant in terms of basketball players' shoes, other than Nike and Jordan or Jordan Nike kind of brands. So it's crazy to see how like they were non-existent in the market before this happened, and now they're everything now. Like no one. Like I know Puma, like some people have Adidas shoes, some people have, but they're not relevant like Nike is. Nike is like the dominant brand for basketball. And,
yeah. Especially the Jumpman, Jordan
logo,
brand. Yeah,
I kind of glossed over him designing that logo too. Like I wanted a bit more about the design, but then that would have made me like 5 hours.
But then the poor guy died. Like, was it like 1 week before the announcement of this movie was being made?
Before they could even start production. Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. But you're right, Chris. I really wanted to see how he devised and came up with that logo.
Yeah, they just kind of left, and the next day showed up, and he had the design. I was like, I kind of wanted to see
even the shoe. He gives them the specs for the shoe, right?
Yeah.
Give them the specs for the shoe, and then the next day the shoe just exists, and then they reveal it to Jordan, right? So it's like,
3D printed.
Yeah. They make one. I think they only make one shoe, right? They don't make
to make it
they don't
more
make
rare or something. Yeah,
they make just like the left or the right or whatever. But yeah. All right. How badly does this make you want to get a pair of Jordans, Rob?
Not at all, because there's
Not
too
at
big.
all?
My son just bought his first pair. Good for him. I have zero interest. I like my ideas. I like my
pairs. I brought one out to show.
Oh, look at Chris O with the Jordans. All right.
This is the pollen. Yeah. Anyways, I got more, but I didn't want to. They're on top of things. I can't get them out. But
can you wear them on a regular basis though, or you only bust them up for special occasions?
Well, that's part of the draw of them, right? Like as they age and they get like creases and things and marks, people say they look better when they're more worn and things like that. So that's part of the idea why this silhouette is so iconic, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, right?
How many Jordans do you own?
Just Jordan Brand or Air Jordan 1s? Jordan Brand's got probably at least 5 pairs. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, I just like them. I like that colorway. I like to wear them with different things. And then I don't actually play a lot of basketball, but I play volleyball, which is on a court. So I wear basketball shoes to play volleyball.
Oh.
All righty. No Reebok pumps for you, huh?
Shout out to Shaq, who was endorsed by Reebok for the longest time. Didn't want to go with Nike.
I did at one point own that Kobe Bryant, the KB1, whatever it's called. I think I had the black, I had the white.
Yeah.
And then I had a redux of like a yellow white. And then Chris O just brought me a new reskin in the Vader. So I think I have like 4 or 5 pairs of those original Kobe's that look like a moon landing shoe. Yeah. So I can't really talk about judging Chris on owning that many Jordans. I do have admitted that the Jordans look hella fly when you see people wearing them, especially the red and white ones that they pictured in the movie.
The Chicago colorway, yeah.
The original.
One thing is the most popular shoe in the NBA, or NBA players wear right now, is the Kobe's right now, actually, because they stopped making them, and everybody obviously he died, he passed away, and so everyone wants them. So that's actually the most popular shoe in the NBA right now is any Kobe Bryant shoes from Nike, though, John, not from Adidas.
Yeah. Damn it!
Hey, don't worry. I think you can get a whole bunch of overstock Adidas Yeezys for
starting May 31st. Yeah.
I think all the proceeds go to charity, so it's going to a good cause, folks.
All right.
And then a small portion is going to our boy Kanye West. So we'll see how that works.
I think it's more of Adidas trying to recoup their loss because of this. Yeah.
Did you just burn them all? I don't know. Anyways, all right. Any last thoughts on Air, Rob, Chris?
Nope. It was good.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Air 2.
To the fall of the sequel.
That's how they sign LeBron. Yeah, that's the next one.
Yeah. Shout outs. I don't believe Chris owns a pair of Slam Dunk Air Jordans, but we did all watch Slam Dunk. Shout outs to that.
Yeah,
it's coming back, the anime. But all right, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in, giving us your holiday Monday. Happy Victoria Day, folks. I don't know if are we going to still hear fireworks tonight? Is that still a thing?
No, maybe.
No, I don't know. I guess
near
we'll see.
School, someplace that can light them.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I heard a lot popping off over like Saturday. I feel like, but nothing on Sunday. Yeah.
I had a lot last night out my way. Yeah.
So shout outs to you guys popping off fireworks. Condolences to you guys with the dogs that go crazy when fireworks start going off. I feel for you. But I don't know. But thank you, Chris O. Thank you, Mr. Rob.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, everybody in the comments for participating. I hope you enjoyed watching Air or sports adjacent movies. We'll have to see what the next sports adjacent movie coming out is. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I think that's all we got for you tonight.
Yep.
So Rob will not be here next week, so look for an announcement. I'm going to be pretty busy over the next couple of weeks, but we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be a Chris Ho show.
I'll do a show.
Yeah, let's go, Chris.
What do you guys want to watch?
Moneyball? Is it going to be Moneyball?
I won't make you guys. No one's going to watch that. I've been talking to myself about Moneyball for an hour. No one's going to want to watch
Why
that.
do I like Moneyball so much?
Number 412. Because
we're going to cover reasons. Yeah, 400 to 300 tonight, folks. Followed by next week's episode.
I think Extraction 2 comes out soon. You can talk about Extraction 1 because I don't think you guys have talked about that one yet. But
I have not watched Extraction 1, so I got to get that in before 2 comes out. Yeah. Before they take it off Netflix or some bizarre crap like that. It's like, we took it off. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will check you guys later.
See ya.